So yes, thank you everyone for joining me today. My name is Michael Smith, the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome Canada. And yes, I'm here in my studio in Collingwood as we do the countdown review of our Janomes Awesome Accessory countdown going from 1 to 12. And I have my cute little sampler here to show you. Now, before I get started though, I wanted to remind you all we have this fabulous new hashtag. Hashtag share the Janome love. So wherever you share your posts on social media, you could hashtag share the Janome love. And this way we'll be able to see how you use your Janome machines and all the fabulous pressure feet and the attachments and the accessories that I've talked about for the previous series A to Z with Janome, and then the soon to be previous Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown. This way we can see all the fabulous projects that you've been creating. So that's hashtag share the Janome love. Now then, boom, as we start our Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown, and we're going from 1 all the way around to 12. Now, a big shout out to our Parts and Notions coordinator, Tanya Denyer, did all of our fabulous artwork as always. And Tanya actually came up with this whole inspiration from Sesame Street. She and I had talked before that when we were growing up in the 70s, and Tanya and I are about the same age, when we were growing up in the 70s, we loved the pinball countdowns from Sesame Street. And it was this cool little animation, and the Pointer Sisters did this song counting from 1 up to 12. So that's where the inspiration came from. So we thought, great, there's way more than 12 awesome accessory countdown or awesome accessories in Janome's line, but at least we had 12 to start with. So yes, I'll set these down and get out of the way, and we're going to go all the way up here to number 1. Now this is the cute little sample, or at least I hope you all find it cute, sample that I've been making all along with my beautiful Tamara Kate fabric. I did my big sample with our A to Z series with Janome out of Tamara Kate fabric. She is a designer from Montreal and designs fabric with Michael Miller. And I love her fabric, and she's an absolute sweetheart too. So I've used the leftovers to make this little sample. So number 1 was our ribbon sewing guide. Now the wonderful thing about that ribbon sewing guide is so long as your machine has a little hole in your needle plate or the bed of your sewing machine, you can use that ribbon sewing guide. It doesn't matter if your machine is a 9mm or a 7mm or a 5mm. So most all of our machines, there's a couple of exceptions, but most all of our machines can use that ribbon sewing guide. And the cool thing about it, you take, this is a purchased ribbon. It actually came from some chocolates, some leftover ribbon that, again, after we bought the chocolates and ate them, this ribbon was left over, but used the decorative stitches built into your machine. So whatever machine you have, Janome always has more than enough decorative stitches, and so many people say, oh, I don't know when to use them. This ribbon sewing guide is a perfect time to use them to embellish all your fabric or your, again, ribbon that you've already purchased. This is just some grosgrain ribbon, but then I fancied it up and added some decorative stitches to it. So really, really beautiful there, and again, some cute playful stitches built into your machine to make your own ribbon. So that was number 1. Number 2 was the free motion couching foot set. Now this was very fun that it allows you to attach a variety of yarns and some thin cords in whatever kind of configuration you wish, since it's all free motion. It kind of looks like your darning foot. But there's a little groove for the yarn, so it allows you to fix it just where you want it. Now, number 3 was the serger beading foot and the cording feet. There's cording foot number 1 and cording foot number 2, or sometimes they're referred to as cording feet, cording foot number A and cording foot B. But with the serger beading foot, we can put on a string of, pearls in this instance. So great if you do bridal or dance wear, skating costumes, anything like that. Again, like cosplay, making costumes. the serger really allows you to make your garments, your projects, almost twice as fast as a regular sewing machine, and the results are always very beautiful. So the beading foot for your serger, I also use the beading foot for couching on yarn. And you can barely see that thread too. The fuzzier yarn that you use, it just buries right into that thread, so it's very cute. Now, also with the cording feet, though, that you can apply some decorative cords along the edge of your serged seam. And then in this case, I have some wire that we're able to apply the wire in to make our own wired ribbon. So you can use up all your scraps. And if you're doing any home deck projects, then again, use up your scraps and make some wired ribbon. So how perfect is that? So again, all available for your serger, regardless of what serger it is. So now, number 4 was our quilt binder set. Now, all of these previous Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown live presentations are saved on the main page of the Janome HQ Instagram page. There's the IGTV icon is kind of in the center of the page. It's a little TV with antenna icon. So you can go back and review all of these previous live presentations, but then I've also saved them as videos on the Janome HQ YouTube channel. So you can go back and review them there too. And the quilt binder set, specifically with the mitered corners that everybody is always mystified about. So the nice thing is go to the Janome HQ YouTube channel and you can watch that as I demo how to do the corners. It's just my technique. Again, everybody's got their own way, but I've shared a lot of tips and tricks in that video, so then you can, pause it and try it out for yourselves. And of course, the quilt binder set and all of these feet and attachments are available from your fabulous Janome dealer. So double check with them. Number 5 was the serger gathering foot and attachment, and that foot allowed us to make gathers so quickly and easily on the serger. There was none of that, pulling 2 threads the way that we would do on the sewing machine. You'd have your big long basting threads and you'd try to, pull them evenly. No, it's so much easier on your serger, so much faster. And then by using the attachment, then we're able to put this gathered piece of fabric onto a flat piece of fabric. So this could be a great for a ruffled skirt or a sleeve or, an apron or a pillow. Again, it's not just limited to garments. Your serger is not just limited to garments. So that's very fun. Number 6, the ruffler attachment. Again, to call it a foot is really quite an injustice. It's really amazing. It looks kind of creepy. It looks unlike any other foot or attachment for the machine. And it's actually quite an old attachment. I'm curious on when it actually debuted, but it's not a new thing at all. Easily machines 100 years old had a ruffler. So someone was brilliant in their engineering. Again, Janome took that, of course, and made some improvements and made it their own, and the ruffler attachment is now one of my favorite feet and attachments for the machines. And there's pretty much a ruffler for almost every machine out there. So again, you want to double check with your Janome dealer, but also you want to double check your Janome accessory guide. Now you can go on the janome.ca website and click the accessories tab, and there is this accessories guide. I ended up printing it out, but again, you can get it all online, and then this way it will go through all the various feet and attachments that are available and which machines they're compatible with. All the parts numbers are available in here, so then you can look up all that information and then take that parts number to your dealer, call them up or go see them. A lot of the dealers are open. Some even have where you book appointments. So then you go in and shop when there's maybe like one other person with you, and then you make an appointment and then you say, here is the parts number for the ruffler attachment that I would like, or the quilt binder, whichever, so they can order it for you. So more information again about all of these Janome's awesome accessories are in the Janome accessory guide. And also, I left my copy at the office, but this is I hope you can see here, a picture of the presser foot workbook. Janome has this fabulous presser foot workbook. It comes in a binder. Again, it looks like this with the automatic buttonhole foot on it. And there's various addendums to then purchase, all about specialty presser feet. There's one about all the binder attachments, like the quilt binder and the binder foot, the W foot. So there's one about free motion quilting and rulers. There's one about the cover hem and all the accessories available. This is a picture I got off the web from our friends at Sew for Home, which is another great resource about how to use all of these fabulous Janome feet and accessories. You can go to sew, S-E-W, for, the number 4, .com, so, or for home, so for home.com. And again, they're a great resource for all things Janome. So the presser foot workbook is another thing you could order from your dealer, and again, purchase the various addendums. And there's way more information there too about all these feet and accessories that I talked about in the Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown, as well as the previous series A to Z with Janome. So that's a great resource too. So yeah, so that's on our ruffler. So number 7 was the AccuFeed Flex. The SD is the stitch in the ditch foot, and the STD is the straight stitch foot. Now, you'll never be able to tell. I used even colored thread here to stitch in the ditch right along this ribbon that I made. And you know, all of these name labels that I made with the ribbon sewing guide that I was using, the Continental M7, but again, it can work on so many machines, using the fabulous Madeira Katana multicolor thread as well. So I had just programmed what I wanted the machine to stitch out, and using the ribbon sewing guide, I made this all these beautiful labels for my sample. So again, the SD stitch in the ditch foot lets you stitch in the ditch beautifully. So even when you're using contrasting thread, you really don't see it that much. And then the STD, the straight stitch foot, is great to use with your AccuFeed Flex. I always equate it to, it's like a walking foot on steroids. So when you're quilting through multiple layers and want to use, again, your straight stitch needle plate, and then you can use the straight stitch foot. You don't have to use your straight stitch needle plate with that foot, but they're a perfect pair. So that is great. Number 8 was the serger blind hem foot and cloth guide. So to make a blind hem on your serger, to hem, you know, skirts and trousers, but also think of curtains. You've got yards and yards and yards of curtains, or even if you wanted to hem a tablecloth or a table runner that way, that the blind hem, again, you can really barely see it on the good side, but then on the back side, it's all nicely, beautifully finished on the serger. So again, I use some gray thread, so it'll be probably hard to even see it there from further away. But again, all done on the serger in one step, finish off that hem edge and make your hem. So it's very quick and easy that way. And the cloth guide is really cool, especially if you're going to maybe seam those curtains together, long seams. You've got the cloth guide to help with your accuracy, keeping your stitching nice and straight. It's adjustable, so if you're sewing garments using a commercial pattern, the typical seam allowance is 5/8 of an inch, for example. So you can move your cloth guide to the 5/8 of an inch mark. So you know that you're trimming off the seam allowance just where you need it. So again, all information about all the feet for your serger, again, in your Janome accessory guide, but also available from your Janome dealer. Number 9, the fringe foot. Oh, this foot, it has some beautiful vintage packaging, as I was describing in that video. And vintage is a nice word to say, well, it's kind of old, but actually I love that vintage packaging. It's very beautiful. It's before the age of the blister pack. So, you know, it's not ancient, but, you know, I'm just teasing by saying it's old, but it's before the age of the blister pack. So there is this cute red and white packaging, and there's some instructions in that on a separate piece of paper on how to use your fringe foot. And it is so cool, again, just using plain old zigzags and some of the decorative stitches in your machine to make this kind of lacy thread work. Again, this is more of that fabulous Madeira Katana multicolor thread, or then you can actually cut that fringe and really make it fuzzy. I think, oh, this would be great if you're doing like a wall hanging and you want to stitch around like a lion's mane or something, you know, that would be really cute, or add some texture onto your quilt or on a tote bag. So fringe foot, and it's available in a low shank and high shank as well. So again, it fits a variety of machines. Now, number 10 was our serger elastic gathering attachment. So the guide lets you attach the elastic. It acts as your third hand, basically holding the elastic just where you need it. So it guides it very easily. So I can either gather using that elastic gathering attachment, or I would stitch the elastic, you know, to the edge of my, if this were edge of my garment, for example, and then I could fold it over like that. And, you know, take this to the sewing machine and do a zigzag or a twin needle, or run this through the cover hem, CPX 900 or CPX 1000, CPX 2000, to then finish it off, to stitch that down and finish it off. But the serger elastic gathering attachment, again, just makes attaching that elastic very quick and easy. Number 11 was the flower stitcher. Oh, this again is an older foot, comes with a very cool package. Absolutely loved the package, but it is, again, it's been around for a while, but a lot of people really don't know about it. So I was very happy to discover this flower stitcher. And again, more information in your Janome accessory guide. It is for low shank machines only. However, it will not fit like your 9mm high shank machines. It will not fit that. So if ever you were thinking about getting another machine, a smaller machine, a lighter machine, to take to, again, classes or the cottage or something, maybe now this is a perfect time to think, oh, maybe I'll buy one of those the low shank 7mm machines, like the 5300, for example, and then you could use your flower stitcher. So that's perfect. But it allows you to use this, or just a lot of these are just regular plain old zigzags, or again a blind hem, very plain simple stitches. But when you use them with your flower stitcher, look at all the beautiful effects you can create. So I find it very cool. I described it in the video as a Pandora's box, that it opens up this whole new world of creativity. And this, I was using our Janome polyester embroidery thread.
Left needle position only for the flower stitcher.
Left needle position only? No.
So he says.
Oh, left needle position only. Oh, I was using it in multiples, because you can adjust the foot.
Collector 02 wants to know, what foot is that?
What foot is this? The flower stitcher? Oh, it's an actual. It's in that box over there, that blue box. Sorry, I'm just directing Joe to. I can show you here in that blue box. I think it's in the top of it. If you open that up, again, more information is in the Janome accessory guide, and it's in a little tray. It's a little blue box. Yes, it's that box right there. Yes, sorry. I didn't anticipate showing the feet, but then I thought it's easier for me to show it, so then I'm not trying to describe it. So this is your flower stitcher. Is that very cool? Oh, where? This? That's your flower stitcher. So it's very cool. So again, it will attach to your machine here, around again where your foot holder goes, and then the little screw there, and then you can adjust it so it can move. So you can do a bigger flower or a smaller flower, or then center there. So very cool. So again, more information in the accessory guide, as well as from your dealer. So I loved using this because I thought this doesn't look like a regular presser foot at all. So that's very cool. So yes, that was your flower stitcher. Ooh, and then number 12 is the roller foot, the HD roller foot, and HD stands for heavy duty. So when that is for 9mm machines and high shank 7mm machines, And that is a good foot to use. Here I've got some really thick piping. It's at least probably about half of an inch.
Fabric collector just asked if it will work on the 6500.
6500, so long as it's a low shank machine, which I believe the 6500 is. So yes, that flower stitcher should work. So long as it's a low shank machine, yes. 65 I think is low shank, so yes, it would work. So yes, the HD roller foot, again, when you want really big piping, you know, this won't fit through our piping foot. So the HD roller foot runs along the piping. It's great around curves. And then great if you're going to be stitching through heavy duty layers like for your tote bags, you know, if you've got a lot of layers and the fusible fleece and interfacings, or you've got leather, suede, vinyl. In this case, I've got the vinyl covering the piping, so then that's a great foot to use too. So yes, again, more information in your Janome accessory guide, but ooh, I also wanted to show you guys a little more here. We'll come down this way. So yes, also some other great resources. Now I just happen to have this Janome binder, but I love going on to the Janome global site and type in your browser Janome global site, and there are all these fabulous Janome bulletins, and I print them all out and I put them in page protectors, which I really recommend that you all do. And I know we're all supposed to be digital and paper free, but I personally love having the paper copy, so then I don't always have to run to my computer, and then this way I can look back. It's like you're building your own reference binder. So when you're sewing at 2 in the morning and your dealer is not awake at the time, then again you can go back and review in your Janome bulletins, and there is one on that HD roller foot as well. So you can go back to the Janome global site and check out the bulletins. There's a tab on the left-hand side that you can, again, print out those bulletins and put them in your page protectors, and that way you've got your own Janome reference binder at your fingertips. So that's good. Now, some other products that I then talked about during the Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown that really help. The serger in particular, I really wanted to focus on some of the serger feet that are available. Janome machines, sewing machines, have a lot of accessories and attachments available. So the sergers also have a lot of attachments and presser feet available. So again, check with your dealers. But a lot of people, have said to me, or they email me and they say, oh, I haven't used my serger in like 20 years. So I always say, oh, dust off the serger, and then we can learn some new techniques about it. But specifically your serger thread, if you have an old serger that, again, you haven't used for a while, chances are your serger thread is also old. So I say, do yourself a favor, chuck that old serger thread, find another purpose for it, but really treat yourself to some good quality serger thread. So Janome has this cute little pack of 4 neutrals. The black cones are on my CPX 2000 actually right now, but so these are available from your Janome dealer in a pack of neutrals. There's 4, since the sergers have 4 cones. 4 spool pins, or Madeira has this beautiful arrow lock thread, and this is just one of the kits they have available, but isn't that beautiful? And again, these are missing. They're on my serger right now, this darker gray, but there's a lot of neutrals here, and really, like, you don't need every color in the rainbow for your serger. So I find that the neutrals are really kind of all that I need. If you do want to match any of your thread to your fabric, I would just match your needle thread. That's the one that may show if your seam is flexing at all, but your loopers are never going to show. If it's like a garment on the inside, your loopers are never going to show. So you could just use like some neutrals there and save yourself some money that way. So again, these fabulous thread packs are available from your dealer. Also, I mentioned the Artistic Tack spray, which I love. A little goes a long way. This is great when you want to hold together layers of fabric without using pins. So I use this a lot in quilting, and I layer my backing and my batting and my quilt top. But also I used it for the HD roller foot when I'm sewing with leather and vinyl, things where I can't really pin into them because they're either too thick or it's going to leave pinholes. So using the artistic tack spray is a good alternative. And then also there is a cleaner as well. So if you get a little overspray where you don't want it, naturally don't spray near your machines. But if you get some artistic tack spray where you don't want it, there is a cleaner that easily removes it. And when you use this for embroidery, as I often do to position my embroidery, this cleaner is brilliant on your embroidery hoops. It cleans it up so beautifully. So that's available again from your Janome dealer. And then also I loved talking about this beautiful, it's a 9mm accessory case. I often call it the train case because it reminds me of little cosmetic bags that ladies used to carry. So this is a 9mm accessory case available in black, or also a like robin's egg blue that the original Skyline series were all in that robin's egg blue. So there is a 9mm accessory case in that robin's egg blue as well. So it's a beautiful case. It's got lots of storage up here, some little extra storage in here. So that's great. And it comes with 3 trays. One of the trays hold, all these fabulous 9mm presser feet. Now this train case or accessory case comes with the Memorycraft 15,000 quilt maker. So all of these feet over here are all included in the Memorycraft 15,000 quilt maker. If you're purchasing this 9mm accessory case on its own, you definitely don't want to be doing that. If you're purchasing it all on its own, then you do not get all of these presser feet. But the ones specifically that I want to talk about are these two, because these are the ones, that's okay, Joe, don't worry about it. These two are the ones that I want to talk about. This was your STD straight stitch foot, and then this was your SD stitch in the ditch foot. So this stitch in the ditch foot comes with the Memorycraft 15,000 quilt maker version 3, and that will be in that slot there. But for those of us that have a version 1 or version 2 of the Memorycraft 15,000 quilt maker, we did not have that stitch in the ditch foot. So then that we'll need to purchase that, and that can go there. And then this, the STD slot for the straight stitch AccuFeed flex foot, it just goes into there. So then that completes your whole accessory tray. All of these here, which I have interrupted, then these were all additional presser feet then that I covered in the A to Z with Janome series, like the applique foot and the ultra glide foot and the border guide foot. All of these that go in this slot, the slots to the left, are in the A to Z with Janome series, so you can go back and review those. They were so beautifully nice. You know, that's the trouble with talking with your hands too much. And then also a product that I talked all the time, I left my sampler pack, I can't believe that I left it at the office, is the Madeira Stabilizer pack. Now I talk a lot about the starter sampler pack that has the 12 different stabilizers in it, and that's a great resource to again get from your Janome dealer, and then you can try all the various stabilizers and find your favorites. And then they come in like cylinders like this, which I love this packaging because it keeps it all nice and dry, keeps it like wrinkle free. So then again, there's 12 in total. So then you can get these again from your Janome dealer. And I find that I've used that stabilizer for so many things. Certainly when you're doing your decorative stitches, when you're using your flower stitcher, for example, it's great to have a stabilizer underneath your fabric. So you can get that from your Madeira Stabilizer pack. Now, I wanted to, how are we doing time-wise? Yes, okay, Joe's saying, yep, it's time to roll up. So that is the end, the conclusion of the Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown, but I wanted to give you a heads up, a sneak peek of what's coming up next week. So starting, it's going to be Wednesday, September 2nd. So mark your calendars. It's going to be once a week. I hope everyone will understand that instead of doing, lately I've been doing 2 days a week. Janome's A to Z series, I was doing 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then the Janome's Awesome Accessory Countdown, I was doing every Monday and Wednesday. But then now I'm going to drop back to just every Wednesday. So you can mark your calendars and set your phone. So every Wednesday, starting next week, September 2nd, I'm going to be doing live, still at 1 p.m. And we're going to be doing the new series, Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. Now say that 10 times fast. I'm sure I'm going to be tongue-tied and correcting myself many times as I do this series. But yes, Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour starting Wednesday, September 2nd. So I'm going to be going through many of the machines of the Janome line. Next week I'll be back at the Janome Sewing and Learning Center in Oakville, Ontario. So I'll be going through highlighting a different machine every week to go through what's included and some optional accessories that are included, different features, or optional accessories available, not included, but yes, and different features of the machines. So hopefully you will all be joining me then. And then you can write me classes at janome-canada.com, and I'll put you on the mailing list then for when we start resuming classes, either in person at the Janome Sewing and Learning Center. We're not quite sure when that's going to be happening, but I can put you on that mailing list, and as soon as we do find out, then you'll get notification. But also, I'm developing some online classes, so if you write me at classes at janome-canada.com. I'll again put you on that mailing list for some online classes that will be available soon. But also I'd love to hear your feedback on what classes you would like at the Janome Sewing and Learning Center, what classes you would like online, and when we do, starting next week, Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour, what machines you would like me to feature in this Magical Mystery Tour as well. So you can write me, again, classes at janome-canada.com, and then let me know what machines you'd be interested in, what classes you'd be interested in. So it's a great way for us to then stay in touch, and I'd love to hear that feedback. So that would be great. So, okay, any questions, any
I
concerns?
just have a request to pan over the whole quilt again so they can see it.
Oh, yes, lovely. Then I'll get out of the way. Thank you. That's very sweet. Eventually, this will be, I'll take it down to the Janome Sewing and Learning Center, and I will put this on our Quiltmaker Pro 18, or maybe even our Quiltmaker Pro 16, and I will quilt it.
Says, please feature the Continental M7.
Oh, yes. Oh, and there's some more exciting things with Continental M7. So, yes, that will definitely be a machine that I will feature in the Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. That's a mouthful, definitely. But yes, it's a cute little sample there. So I want to hang this up somewhere outside our classroom. So yes, I will quilt it on the Quiltmaker Pro 18 or Quiltmaker Pro 16. And then I usually do scrappy bindings as well. I love using up all the fabric, and that way it's a good excuse to buy more. So yes. So is that good? Oh, lovely. Okay. So yes, thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope you've all had a fabulous day. Oh, 550E as well. Oh, absolutely. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's wonderful. Oh, so be it, Clothier. A lovely hello.
This is Leah. Thought it's good enough for her.
Yes.
She want me painting on anything else.
Oh, yes. No, I think that looks great. Thank you. That's wonderful. Yes, awesome. Okay, fantastic. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to hear your feedback. So, yes, maybe I'll just step in and say goodbye to you all. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you, as always, for your support of Janome HQ, and then hopefully I'll be seeing you all again next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern at Janome HQ for the start of the Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. I'll think of it eventually. So yes, I will see you then. So thank you so much for joining me. Joe, you can wave goodbye. Yes, Joe says goodbye. So thank you all, and have a very wonderful rest of the week and fabulous weekend.
Switch over. I'll do it.
Oh, good. A proper goodbye. Yes, that's sweet. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you next week then.